Jedi Fallen Order is a surprised masterpiece. And what I mean by that is that no one expected this game to be good. Like, no one. I was very skeptical of it because EA was making this game, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be another flop, or it's gonna be another mixed bag, but no. This is a really, really good game. Now, the way we'll be covering this game is not by looking at the gameplay or stuff or how the game works, but mainly the story, since this is a ranking of all the stories of Star Wars, not gameplay. That's kind of be unfair then. This game is very surprising to me because this game tackles trauma and your past. The main character, Cal Kestis, goes through trauma. If you don't know, if you haven't played the game, I am spoiling the game because it's been out for like a couple years now. And the reason I'm covering this now is because this game is popular, really popular, and it's getting a sequel. So I decided, why not just review the first game to see what all the hype is about. And so, like I said, the main character is Cal Kestis, and he was a Jedi Knight, or a Padawan, in the Clone Wars. But if you've seen Star Wars, you know Order 66 happens, and he's put on a planet called Bracca, which is a scrapyard planet. And one thing goes wrong, and Cal is now exposed as a Jedi. And so the Inquisitors come, and they're trying to figure out who is hell is a Jedi here, who's Force sensitive. And through manipulation with the Inquisitors, Cal exposes himself as a Jedi. But he's not prepared to fight these Inquisitors, and he's on the run. You have to just run. And eventually you meet up with two characters called Grease and Seer. Now, Grease is this alien character who, like, is a pilot. He's the Han Solo of the game, the comic relief. But Seer is the, you could say, the quest giver of this game. But she's more important. Both her and Cal they were Jedi. But through Order 66, those two were hiding. She just was like, okay, you're gonna go to these planets, getting a holocron to free the Jedi, and we're gonna make a new Jedi Order. That's what we're gonna do. And throughout the game, you go through trauma, because you're basically relearning your Force powers. And the thing about this game, what I love, they combine gameplay with story. And like that, not covering the gameplay side of this game because obviously I'm not, here to talk about gameplay really, because that's not what this ranking is. As you progress through the game, you get new Force powers, and with that, you unlock more memories of the past when you're a Padawan with your master, Gerald T'Pol, and you realize, you're on this Venator ship, and you're training with him, and then you regain that Force power. What this game is really about is about dealing with trauma in your past, because all the characters in this game, Cal experienced trauma with Order 66, same with Seer, but she also had trauma because her Padawan turned into an Inquisitor, she's the dark side. Grease has trauma, because he's dealing with bounty hunters, which becomes your problem, because you get captured by them, and you have to fight these bounty hunters, and it's just, they're trying to capture you, I guess, because payment. The other part of the game I do forget about, and I still forget because I don't really pay attention to it. It's kind of a thing that just exists in the game, but it's there. It's something for Grease, to bring one together with the whole trauma thing. And down the road, finally, you have Marin, everyone's favorite goth girl character, and she deals with trauma because of the events from the Clone Wars with General Grievous slaughtering the Night Sisters, which you don't really see the full effect of in the show, but in the game it's much more prevalent. I like how it's more prevalent because this game focuses a lot on the Clone Wars. It's clear that the developers love the Clone Wars show, and there's a lot of references to it. And when I first played this game, I did not understand a lot of the Clone Wars references, but after I watched the show, I'm like, oh my god, this is so good now. This added knowledge really comes into play when you're playing the game. And you don't have to watch the show. Obviously, the game does stand on its own two legs. The story does stand. But when you watch the prequel trilogy, you watch the Clone Wars show, you start to understand, okay, this game makes a lot more sense story-wise, where the characters are at. You understand their trauma and their frustration. And it also helps when Cal has a Force power that allows him to experience past memories, either that's from, or just past people doing stuff. the past. Where he picks up an instrument, he plays it, and he somehow learns how to play it even though he never picked up that instrument before. That force power. I forget what it's called, but Quinlan Voss has it. It's a rare force power, which is really good for the story because it really brings home that you can never really escape your past because Cal has a force power that coincidentally shows him the past of other people's actions. And I should mention that it is beautiful to have Darth Vader in this game because everyone is experiencing trauma. Like I keep saying, this game is about trauma and moving past it. And Darth Vader is perfect for this game because he has the most trauma out of any character. And I love that. It makes total sense. The game is called Fallen Order, and you're playing with the guy. You're versing a guy who created that Fallen Order, basically. You have to fight him. Well, you try to fight him, but most of the time you're just running away. And that's what I love about this game. This game is meant for younger people, like myself, in their 20s. Because we young people are dealing with trauma, with the real world, and with school, and college, and work, and etc., etc. And this game deals with that trauma. Now, granted, Cal is not dealing with house mortgages, but it's a analogy for us to deal with past trauma, regardless if it's, just low-level stuff like I said before, or more serious stuff with maybe a troubled childhood, And this game takes itself very seriously when it comes to that regard. It's not taking itself lightly. It really hammers home that these characters are suffering through pain and trauma that they have not gone through, even though that was like 5 years ago, Order 66. Cal is still reliving that day every single day in this new world that he is not familiar to, living a life that he doesn't want to live, but he's forced to live it to hide his identity, to save his life. And at the end of the game, he finally becomes a Jedi and can just explore the galaxy and where he could possibly see him in a sequel, because I don't know where he's going to be in a sequel. I haven't played the game yet, but wherever he's at is probably going to be good. One last thing before I actually go into the rankings here. This game has cinematography, where at certain points the game will kind of take control of itself and kind of show you around scenery. It happens in the beginning of the game where Cal's climbing like a rope. You get to see the camera pulls out. You get to see the remnants of the Clone Wars. And you get stuff like that where it's basically like a movie, a game, it's basically everything in one. And it's so cool because I don't think I've really seen a game do that in a long time. I mean, obviously, games are cinematic, but I mean, in a very long time, a single-player game treating itself like a movie. And with that being said, where do I put this in my rankings then? So Jedi Fallen Order goes above the Bad Batch Season 1, but below the Mandalorian Season 2. Now, I wasn't going to put this below the Bad Batch entirely. My side note, the story is way more important, way more impactful to me than the story of the Bad Batch, so I put it up to 14th place, which is fine. Maybe it'll move up later in the round. I don't know. I have to see. I have to feel on it because I have played this game like 4, maybe 5 times. And I was going to put a lot lower, but I'm like, no, I can't. This game is way too special. It's way too good. The story is way too good to be lower on the list. So I like it here. Do you agree or disagree on where I put Jedi Fallen Order? Because I know not everyone has played the game. Some people may not be video game enthusiasts. They may not like video games. They may say, oh, it's bad, put it lower. But for people who have played it, who are, people that like playing video games, what do you think about it? Because this game is not just meant for gamers, it's meant for Star Wars fans as well. And so with that being said, I'm going to go now. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm going to go now. So goodbye, everyone.